Bernie Flint is an incredible talent, with natural comedy to complement his smooth, soulful vocals, his guitar work, and his songwriting. Starting out in the Navy, Bernie grafted at sea. He grafted in the clubs and he grafted on tour, in cabaret, in theatres, working with the biggest names in the industry. Bernie may be the longest running winner on opportunity knocks of all time, but there is more to Bernie, and when work on the cruise ships and show business halted for all of us in 2020, Bernie spent a lot of his time in the garden, building things out of pallets. But he didn't just make a shelf, no, he made cabinets, TV shelves, and then he filmed his results, and it's those short films that became the masterpiece. Yes, his woodwork is brilliant, but what they have manifested post-building for me is the best result. Bernie's Palette Palace was born, and it was his style and description of his palette passion that had us all in stitches. He, for me, is a new sitcom character. I could watch every episode and just cry laughing. For me, the elf at Christmas and his small ventriloquist skills have me rolling about. I've missed working with Bernie on the ships, but I've had a brilliant time connecting with him through his handiwork. And you should too. Watch him. Place your orders. In the meantime, not heard of Bernie Flint? Then sit back and enjoy his story on Eyes and Teeth. Welcome, Bernie Flint. On Eyes and Teeth today, we have the wonderful Mr. Bernie Flint. Hi, Bernie.
Hi, Steve.
I've been looking at some more clips of you, because they're added nearly every day, of you in the garden at Palette Palace. Now, I have to bring this up first, because you've had me in hysterics again with your latest. And I think you're now kitting out your son with a whole house of furniture.
Oh, yeah. It smells when you go in his house. It's of old timber.
It looks incredible. I mean, not only is it great craftsmanship, but you are cheering people up no end with your the style of the way you deliver these pieces. And it just is brilliant YouTube comedy. And I think it's unintentional to begin with, wasn't it? It was an unintentional thing.
Well, it still is, to be honest with you, because as much as I try to inject a sort of a humorous side to it, because at the end of the day, who the hell wants to watch somebody building an old set of wardrobes or something on a table and be too serious about it? Because it's not a serious subject for me. It's just something I get. Somebody gives me an idea, and I have no idea how to do it, but because I'm working with pallet wood, I decide to have a crack, and I think, well, it's funny, for Christ's sake. You know, the fact that you can turn an old bit of wood that's normally thrown on the tip. Yeah. And if you just put a bit of effort in, you end up with a table. But trust me, if you look too closely, if you're a proper craftsman, you go, what the hell is that? You know. But it doesn't matter. That's the idea of it. It's usable, and you're right. It does look absolutely brilliant compared to what it looked like when I first started.
Well, yeah, definitely. You can't believe that it was a pallet that turned up on your doorstep, but it's now...
No, even I was stunned when I first started it, and I got the sander out and started cleaning the wood. I was absolutely gobsmacked at what was underneath all this crap, you know. It was just terrifying to think that we'd throw it away and just burn it, you know, and put it on the tip.
Oh,
yeah. And as far as the humour goes, Steve, I mean, it's Facebook. I don't want to go on Facebook and discuss whether the planet's going to end. I mean, that's just not what I want to do. And to be perfectly honest with you, I always thought Facebook was a lot about being a little bit humorous and just keeping in touch with people, you know. But somewhere along the line, some of it just got like, whoa, what's going on here, you know?
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I know it can get you down if you get tied up in all that.
Let me tell you how I use Facebook. Obviously, there's certain people that I follow and I like to because they're interesting, you know, and they make me laugh. But other than that, I just browse at it, and then if I put something on, I honestly don't go on it for about 4 or 5 days, and then I go on and I see the comments and I'm made up. That's nice. That's why sometimes I get requests for a friend. I'll look on it and I'll go, 22 weeks ago. And I think, oh gosh. So they must think, why is he accepting me now? But the truth is, I'm not on it. I'm just doing other things, you know, all the time.
Yeah, of course. You still got a life. Yeah. We do have our own lives as well. And with the Palette Palace, though, I mean, it's become my regular sitcom. I could just tune in, and I've always got.
Pressure now. That's the problem, of course, when you create a monster like that, and people. But having said all that, you know what? I'm generally happy when I'm doing it, so that's a buzz in it. So, I'm not going to come on and be down about it also.
No.
If you're feeling a bit down, the idea is watch somebody who's a bit cheerful. It might help you that day, I don't know. Hopefully, anyway. Yeah,
definitely. No, you're definitely cheering people up. But I think the danger is, and you say about the pressure is when is the next one coming out? They're pressuring you. They want another one and another one. And and now you feel pressured to actually having to put a new one out. And if you haven't got time or you're busy for a few days, then it's good to have a few days away.
The last one I did, Steve, I'll give you an idea. The last one I did, I decided to try and make a little diary of it. And I never realised how much I talk to myself, because basically I'm just looking at my phone and speaking to it. And I actually edit so much of it, because I thought, I'm just a rambler. Just go on and on and on, So I ended up cutting it down, and I still had about 12 or 13 minutes of this. For me, it's just rubbish coming out from the...
No, do you know what this is? Yeah, with the way TV has gone these days, Bernie, this is a classic. I don't know how I'll pigeonhole it. Would it be furniture, building furniture, those kind of TV programs, or would it be a sitcom? But it has to be seen on television, because it's something that will appeal to so many people. It's something that you've created during lockdown and flooded your mind with this idea of, and you don't even show us you making it, do you? It's the before and after, which we love, and it's the explaining. I've just made this, and the bits with your son, using your son and the fact he's not paid you is genius. But then it's just.
But did you hear the last video I did? Though when I was dropping it off, I actually videoed it for about 2 minutes, and when I actually said to him that you owe me some money, he laughed out loud.
You keep saying he just
proves the fact that actually maybe people think I'm making this up. I don't know.
A little...
Steve, I wouldn't charge him, would I? Even if he offered me the world, I wouldn't charge him. I'd do it. All family, I do it for the love of it. Of course I do.
No, of course.
But it's humorous, isn't it? And I suppose
it's brilliant. Humor, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. Keep it going. Don't tell him you don't want the money, because it's so funny when you keep that routine going, whatever that routine is. Just don't change it. It's brilliant. It must be tough out there in the weather, though. I mean, it's ice. Are you doing it at the moment?
Yeah, I've just bought a gas fire with the bottle because, of course, I've bought a caravan.
Is that the new palace?
I'm stunned at how much I'm paying out, and I haven't even got the damn thing yet. It's not even arrived. But I've joined the caravan club. I'm having to look at insurance. And I'll tell you what, it's like owning a boat. If you own a boat, you have to have a bank account that's just keeps empty. That's looking like the same for a caravan.
Oh, you're kidding. It's not even there yet.
Why would you buy a caravan, though, when the government's told you can't move further than 100 foot from the front door?
I know, but is this pallet palace on tour? Are you going around people's gardens now and nicking pallets?
It could be, I said to James, listen, the cruising for me is looking bleak, very bleak, the industry for me, personally.
Yeah, me too.
And I think with my age, Steve, I think that's going to be against me, because I think personally, I don't know, but I've got an idea that the companies are going to say, we're going to go back cruising, but you need to be on the ship for more than a month, maybe, because then it's a safety.
Yes.
If you're on a ship for a month or 2 months, it's obvious it's going to be more difficult to take on any viruses,
Yeah, definitely. They don't want people flying in and out, do they? You have to do the whole...
It's like being back in the Royal Navy.
Yeah. You started out, though, didn't you, Bernie, with the Royal Navy? Can you tell us about those days when you started out?
I loved it. I love the sea, Stevie. When I was 18, I joined the Navy, and it changed my life. I went from sort of being in the wilderness to realising that there's a world out there. And it helped me, educated me. I was uneducated. I left school uneducated because I was from that background where we were skiving more than going to school, playing trumps and truants, So when I went in the Navy, the guy said to me, he said, I'll tell you what, he said, we're not that many, we don't get as many thick people as you, he said, but you're fit as a butcher's dog, he said, so we'll take you, we can always teach you. And they sent me back to school, just for the basics, you know.
Did they? Wow.
That's where I learned to play guitar.
At school, that was?
That's where I met my first love, and then turned out that it was a he. That was in Boogie Street.
Really?
Why, they were gorgeous. I mean, unbelievable, you know. But it was. You've got to realise it was in the 70s, you know.
Well, the knowledge wasn't out there then.
Sense, you know, I've never seen anything like it, you know.
No.
It was still in the dark ages, if you think about it.
Wow, it would have been better off in the dark, wouldn't it? If you'd have, you would have found out.
You see.
you'd still be together.
Let's drop this subject. We don't want to talk about that.
Ice and teeth.
No, but the Navy changed everything for me. That's where I learned to play guitar, you know.
Yeah, brilliant. And didn't you have a guitar experience?
I'll tell you what, well, the truth is, the reason I learned to play guitar, very briefly, is because I was in the, I did own a guitar, so I wanted to play it, but like everybody who gets an instrument, you look about with it, but sometimes you just don't go that step further as you need to. So I was looking about with it, really, and trying to learn a chord, and then at the Southport Visitor did an article of me, local lads travelling the world, you know, which was Bernie Flint in the Royal Navy, playing guitar whilst over in Singapore in the Royal Navy. And I thought, oh God, people think I can play this thing. So that's why I learned to play the guitar, because it was in the Southport Visitor that I could play.
Really? So you felt pressured, really, to start playing properly?
Big time, honestly. So I thought, right, and fortunately there was a few, always in the Navy, so there was a guy playing guitar. It was brilliant, by the way. His name was, I can't remember his second name, but he was absolutely, I was gobsmacked when he played, because he did all the Donovan songs, but he did all the runs with his finger picking, and it really, I was really impressed with him. And he told me a few things, you know, and I used to go away and spend hours and hours in a porter cabin, because on the ship that I was on, HMS Intrepid, it was an assault ship. We carried troops and we carried tanks and we carried, you know, so there's always room when we weren't carrying troops. There was always these porter cabins. You could just go in there and not bother anybody.
Wow.
A fantastic ship. The stern used to sink down, and we had these four sort of troop carrying boats, you know, that we used to carry all the tanks and everything on. It was brilliant. Loved it.
Wow, incredible memories there.
It was, well, even to this day, I've kept in touch with some of the guys I was in the Navy with, which is amazing, really, all those years ago. But the camaraderie, you see, is second to none. We just don't lose it.
Yeah, I can imagine that, because Billy Connolly always talked about, you know, the people he used to work with in the factories, you know, where he used to, steelworks and stuff, and you know, and he's still in touch with those mates today. So it's so nice to stay in touch with your roots.
Well, you when you're living in very close quarters, I would imagine if you go to prison, it's a bit like the same, you know, because if you're living in very, very close quarters. But listen, in the Navy, mate, when you were trained, you've got to realise, as much as we weren't at war, thankfully, we didn't see any. I never went to any problems around the world in that sense, other than fishery protection. But you're trained to, you know, make sure that you're looking after each other.
Yes.
You rely on each other, you know. Without each other doing the right thing, you won't survive, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
wow.
We went through all the training, all the firefighting training and everything in the deep. And I became a ship's diver as well, which was brilliant.
Did you?
I loved that. I
wow.
like 007, you know.
That's incredible.
I loved it, especially when I was in Barbados, you know. They said, right, Flint, we're going to have to go and check the hull of the ship and the anchor and everything, you know. And so there's about 3 or 4 of us on the side of the docks all getting in the gear, and all the oppos, you know, were looking over the side, doing their painting and all that, looking at me like I was a star, you know. But it wasn't easy to pass the test, you know. They didn't just say, oh, yeah, you can be a ship's diver. You had to go through a whole test, you know. One of the tests we did was we had to jump off the bow of the ship. It was about 40 foot up.
Wow.
And we had about 12 of us who... They said, we're looking for ship's divers, so 12 people put the name down.
Yeah.
When he said to the guy, when he said to one of the ship's divers, he said, right, he said, jump off and show them what I want them to do. He went, you are? He said, jump in the water and show them what I want to do. Jump off the bell. And he
Yeah.
said, I'm not jumping off there. He said, yeah, you are. And he said, no, I'm not. He said, well, if you don't jump off, you're not a ship's diver. And he was a qualified ship's diver.
Oh,
He said,
wow.
you're not a ship's diver anymore. And he wouldn't jump off. He said, right, off you go. He said to me, and he turned to me, he said, right, Flint, jump in.
Did you hesitate?
He just said no. He said to me, jump in. And now in Southport, we had a massive swimming pool in Southport where we had the top diving board filled about 140 foot, then mine 40 foot. So we used to crawl up the end of that and fall off it into the water. So it was no problem for me. I just jumped in.
Oh, wow. So you kind of trained yourself.
I bet you 6 or 7 of them didn't jump in. Went, no, I'm not jumping, sir. So they were eliminated straight away, you see. Great.
Well, yeah, you passed the test.
And then the next one was at the side of we're in Portsmouth. We were at the side, and he said, right, he taught us what to do with the bottles and all that. The guy put the bottles on and said, whoa, he got claustrophobic. He's gone straight away. Another guy jumped in and said, it's pitch black down there, sir. He said, yeah, welcome to the diver school. He said, I can't do it. So he said, right, you're out. It was brilliant. Elimination straight away.
Yeah, they were just knocking them off like lemons. Blimey.
We ended up with about 3 or 4 of us, but if you went through it and you finally got there, you got trained to a very high degree, and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I loved it.
That's incredible. I didn't know that about you. Wow. I mean that must build up your strength, really, courage-wise. With yeah. You seem to be, because I know that you're really into your skiing as well, but you seem to be a thrill seeker. You don't mind that. It doesn't.
If you saw me on the black run with our Adam on that sat on my bottom, going actually slagging him off and cursing him for taking me down, you wouldn't believe that. Listen, Steve, when I was a young man, I'd have tried anything.
Yeah.
Skiing, if I'd have been skiing when I was even in my 30s, 40s, no problem, but I didn't take it up till 50, so I can do red runs, but I'm not as brave as I used to be, because I know when you fall off, it's going to take you a year to get over it.
Yeah, sure. Wow, what groundwork that is, though. But who did you...
I go skiing with Stan Boardman and his wife Vivian. When I found out he skied, I was stunned, because you listen to Stan doing his gags and all that, and you don't assume he does anything like that, but he's a very, very shrewd man, and he's got property all over the place, and he goes skiing every year, and I went, wow, and he said, yeah, no problem. And I went with him, and I said, what are you doing on that run with Vivian? He said, what run? I said, the run you're on. He said, oh, I don't know, I'm colourblind, I don't know what runs I'm on. He was taking it down a red run,
Oh, you're joking. He just jumps and hopes for the best.
Oh, he's puddled. I've got some great video of him, I must tell you.
That's
I love me skiing, and I'm missing that, of course, like everybody else.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had about a year off now, and usually you'd be there now, wouldn't you, in January?
Oh, big time. I'd be there now, and then I'd be trying to sneak another week away behind James' bag,
A golf? Was that for golf?
The lads need to go again.
Bernie, were you inspired by anybody starting out playing guitar?
Oh, I mean, the usual, really. I mean, I came out of the Navy, and I was just playing for... Listen, Steve, this is the gospel truth, mate. I was just playing for the crack. I loved playing, and I loved singing, and I loved Bob Dylan, and I loved, Cat Stevens, and Paul Simon. I mean, Paul Simon, for me, was a genius, and
wow.
He's a genius. And
I love James Taylor.
People I just loved, and I loved to learn to play their songs.
Yeah.
I ended up in a little band which fell to pieces. There's too many personality clashes in the band, and it just got too political, and so I ended up in a duo, and then I ended up on my own. One of the reasons I was in a duo, and it was great. I loved the harmony bits. It was great sounding. But his wife used to come along a lot, and she used to sit at the front. And it got too much pressure from me. I was single, you see, and she used to sit at the front and tell him to sing up louder.
No.
And I could hear her saying, "Sing up, sing up."
While you're on.
The harmony. So I thought, what's going on here? In the end, she brought a tambourine along, and I went, "Oh, I can't stand this anymore."
Was she called Yoko?
So I split from the duo.
Yeah.
Not because of him, it's because of it's too much pressure, So, So then I started on my own, and I was doing and I decided to do the clubs, And I thought, oh, that would be great.
Brilliant.
I'd get the money because I wasn't earning much.
No, they were booming back then, weren't they, Bernie? The clubs were really busy and full up.
Time. I mean, they were proper.
Yeah.
But I remember I got a manageress. She said, I'd like to, because I was working in sort of bar, I was doing little wine bars, and she said, I'd like to manage you. You know, I said, oh, she said, do you need a name? So I said, well, okay, what should we give it? She said, Don Cortez. I said, you are? She said, Don Cortez, that'll be a great name for you.
That's the tash.
I obviously looked a bit Spanish because,
Yeah.
you know, I've been in the Navy, had a good dark tan. Anyway, first gig I did, Spanish guitarist, Don Cortez. And I went on and went, you all right? He must have thought, who the bloody hell is this? That boy? You know, he said, thought you were Spanish. I said, no. He said, well, why are you called Don Cortez? And I said, my manageress, I said, saw the name on the bottle of wine. Decided to call me that. So we only lasted about 3 weeks, and I got rid of it.
Well, I don't blame you. You didn't change your name to Bernie Shiraz.
And I realised, to be honest with you, the clubs, I did a few, but I didn't, you know, when you hear stories about the guys going up to Newcastle and all the rest of it,
yeah.
To climb out the window and the tournaments to escape the audience. I never did any of that.
No.
So I ended up doing little wine bars.
Okay.
And, folk clubs. Steve, I was only doing it, mate, just to get a bit of extra money.
Yeah.
So when manageress of the club that I was working at got in touch with Huey Green to say, and she must, I don't know what lies she told him. She must have told him, well, I've got this, you know, this great kid here and all the rest of it.
Spanish guitarist.
She said to me, I've got you an audition in Manchester.
Yeah.
I said, you mental. She said, no, it's opportunity not. She'll be all right. And I went, no, all right. So I went down with Little and Large's roadie, Dave, who was a great guy. He used to love to see what's coming to watch me, you know. And I said to him, I'm a bit nervous. He said, I'll come with you. So I went with him. He was a crazy guy, lovely guy. And we went for audition. And Huey Green told me to turn my amplifier down 3 times. I thought, oh, he doesn't like me, this guy, you know. So I did my song. And I left as quick as I could. And I thought I had failed to... I wasn't that bothered. I just thought, right, it's an experience. And about 3 months later, I was having my breakfast. And I saw an article in the Daily Mail saying, Bernie Flint from Stockport area, you're on the first show, but you forgot to leave your address. So,
wow, they found you.
I left opportunity not to auditions. I couldn't get away quick enough. Get me out of here.
Really? And you had no idea they were looking for you?
So they were looking for me, yeah, because what they'd done, unbeknown to me, they'd sort of decided that, yeah, he was okay, this guy, you know. But they forgot to tell me that, you know. And they assumed I had managers and everything, you know, because most people that went on that show, the management had promised them, I'll get you an opportunity not if you come with me, and blah, blah, blah. But I literally fell through the cracks. I just fell on the show. I mean, that's
brilliant.
What happened. So I got in touch with him, and he said, I've had 3 people phone us already. You're on the first show.
Fantastic.
So, to say I wasn't prepared is an understatement. So I fell on the show the first week. And I remember Huey Green, you know, meeting me and greeting me. He liked comics though, Huey. He wasn't really into singers, you know.
Yeah.
And I won it, which stunned me. And then I kept winning. And after a few weeks, I was panicking because I was thinking, well, what's happening here? You know, what's going on? And in fact, Huey Green said to me, after about 4 weeks, I'd won it. And he said, well, what's happening? And I went, what's happening? I said, I'll tell you what's happening. I said, my laundry round, which should only take 3.5 hours, is now taking 7 hours because they're coming out and actually giving me the laundry hand by hand. He wanted to meet me. Because they'll still do my laundry round, you know, they'll still do my laundry round 12 weeks. After I won it. I kept winning and winning and winning. But I was still doing this laundry round that I had.
Right. You kept the job.
Oh, because Huey Green said to me after 4 or 5 weeks, he said, when I said to him, my laundry round's taking forever, he said, no, you soft. Yeah, he said, what's happening with your management? What's your manager doing for you and all that? And I said, I haven't got a manager. He said, you are? I said, no, I've not got a manager. I said, no, I haven't. I said, I have nothing. So he then decided to introduce me to, I think Dorothy Solomon's, was it?
All right.
Management. I think she looked after Lena, didn't she? Lena's ever, she did.
Okay, is that international artists, is it? Or...
No. I signed with international artists in the end.
Right, okay. This was before that.
And Dorothy, and
Because
anyway,
the important thing...
with this woman, and
Yeah.
I didn't really take to it, you know, and so I came back and he said, how did it go? And I said, I'm not going with her. He said, why not? I said, I don't like it. Biggest management in the country, and I didn't like it. I should have thought, well, yeah, I'm going with her. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I didn't. So he then looked at me as if I was from another planet, because he must have thought this kid hasn't got a clue what he's doing, and he was dead right. So then they started panicking because I was winning this show, and they needed to go, what's happening? It's because every week you come on and go, what's happened since last week in your career? And everyone would go, oh, I've got a record contract. Oh, I've got this, I've got that.
Okay, yeah.
And all I had was a busier laundry round.
But the important thing is...
What have we got here?
Yeah.
So I wasn't ready for that. I was out my depth.
No.
But then he said, have you got any of your own songs? And I said, well, my brother and I have been tinkering about, you know, and Mike had come up with a great song, to be honest with you, and we changed it around a bit, and we played it to him, and he loved it, you know, and he said, oh, well, if you win again, he said, you can do that one. So I won again, and Bob Sharples did an arrangement for this song, and he loved it.
Okay.
And when I went in to record it, we recorded a song with this 40-piece orchestra.
Wow.
And the rhythm section, they all stood up and clapped, and all the orchestra started tapping the bows. And it was just sort of like, wow, they really thought this was a great song, and it ended up being I Don't Want to Put a Hold on You, which is a great song and was a great song.
It's a beautiful song.
I never thought about it like that.
Really?
They were so experienced, they knew what they were doing, but they made it sound beautiful, I've got to say. Yeah, that was a fantastic moment.
Oh, that must have been for people to be playing your, you know, a 40-piece orchestra and playing the song that you and your brother have written.
The Bob Sharples orchestra, they'd seen it all. They'd seen all these stars come through, and for them to give me that accolade, I think they liked me as well, Steve. I think the naivety that I was so frightened of my own shadow, you know. So I'd go in and I just got on with everybody, you know. I just got on with everybody. I have to say, I wasn't under any illusion that I was going to be famous or I was going to be successful.
No, of course, it sounds like you just went with the flow.
Was better than me, you know.
Yeah.
All the acts were polished. They were polished. They were professionals.
Well, there's so many on the show. You know, Roy Chubby Brown, Max Boyce, Little and Large, Frank Carson, Freddie Starr, Bobby Crush, Peters and Lee, Mike Doyle, Les Dawson. So many names on there as well.
Unbelievable amount of talent, you know, and at the time, I just felt really out of depth, you know. So, but it literally happened overnight. And so when it started to move, I ended up signing with EMI, and we released the record we recorded it within a week.
Weren't you still winning on the show while it was being recorded?
Yeah, I was still winning. It was crazy because I was winning the show. I ended up signing with international artists. We recorded this song, like I say, within a week, and we finished the show, and then I was a guest on. It started charting, you know. And Hugh Green actually said to me, what's happening this week, ladies and gentlemen? He's got a new single out and blah, blah, blah. Said he'd saved it. It's got to number 47 this week, ladies and gentlemen. And it was happening so quick, Steve. It was crazy, man.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was just unbelievable. And then the show finished, and I was a guest on different shows then, other people's shows, you know.
Yeah, Top of the Pops as well.
Invited me on because he sang the song and got it wrong.
Val Dunican did.
Because he used to do it live, and he said, I made a right mess there. He said, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get Bernie Flint on next week. So I went on the Val Dunican show.
Wow.
And I saw how much television was like me. It was crazy.
That's amazing. But so many people,
mental,
so many people are covering your song on YouTube now. These days, even now, people learning the guitar, they learn by playing Don't Put a Hold on You. That must be a great feeling to hear that.
That's brilliant. I mean, the thought that I just know the influence that people had on me in the early days, and they do have an influence on you. So when somebody said to me, quite a few years ago, I met somebody and he said, you know, the reason I'm playing guitar is because I saw you, you know, when you recorded when you sang I Don't Want to Put a Hold on You, I decided I wanted to play guitar. And he played guitar and probably played 10 times better than me because I didn't start playing until I was 18, 19.
Yeah.
Which is, It's a bit late to take up guitar in my eyes. It's never too late, but obviously if I'd have started when I was about, you know, the usual age, between 6 and 10, it'd have been a lot better, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's heartwarming to think that that's
Okay.
Brilliant.
It's
I love it. And if
amazing.
anybody requests, can I sing your song? By all means, bring your own approach to it. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, it's brilliant.
Oh, it is such a beautiful song, and you're saying you're on a lot of TV shows back then, and there's a lovely clip of you on YouTube with Lena Zavaroni singing "Feeling Groovy," which is Simon Garfunkel.
She was a lovely, lovely young girl.
Great talent, wasn't she?
Listen, how she coped for how long she did, I don't know. Because look, I was 25, 26, and I was out of depth. She was a child, for crying out loud, from Scotland, on one of the islands, I believe. And I just think if you could have your time again, they wouldn't have exposed her as quickly as that,
No, it's too quick.
She was mixed in with all these other people who were at the Comedy School and from a different background, I mean, she was so lovely. I did a summer show with her in Scarborough.
Okay.
And she was crying her eyes out. And I said, what's up? She said, I'm upset because they won't let me change the PA system. And in the old days, the PA systems were absolutely diabolical. But see, Lena was a massive star. She was star of this show. And she said, my management won't let me change the PA system. And because she knew it sounded awful. And she knew the way forward would be to put a decent PA system in for the summer show.
Of course.
And they wouldn't let her do that. And, sometimes management's got a lot to answer for. And I remember saying to her, listen, while I go home at weekends, you're stuck here on your own. I said, why don't you come? I said, I've got Adam, I've got my young son, Adam, who's there. And you can have a nice Sunday roast and chill out at my house. And she had to ask management, and they turned around and said, no, we're not allowing that.
Oh, you're kidding.
It was heartbreaking that she was being
controlled in a way, really.
There's no two ways in my mind. I blame the people around her. There's no doubt in my mind they were the reason that she ended up there.
Definitely. Sadly, that happens a lot with these stars, doesn't it? And the people, maybe even the 27 Club. You hear about them.
Listen, the business is ruthless.
Yeah.
When I first signed up with somebody in London, he treated me like I was a country yodel from the north. Now, just because I was uneducated and I wasn't educated in finance and all the rest of it doesn't mean you treat people like that. I'm sorry. They always say, eventually you find out what you're truly like in life by how many people attend your grave. But the problem in this business, when this particular guy died that ripped me off and ripped everybody else off, I'm sure, the pundits were saying how wonderful he was. Well, you know what? I don't know why. I speak the truth as it is. I won't mention what it was and what happened because there's no point, actually.
Sure,
It's gone and done and dusted. But I like to feel that... you reap what you sow at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course. Be kind to those.
It's a tough game, listen, the Bay City Rollers, gee whiz, they were ripped off left, right and centre.
Really?
Well, you only have to read the history. It's unbelievable. It's just outrageous that people can get away with that,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, he signed the contract. Oh, come on, do me a favour.
It's sad, isn't it? Because those artists that start out and they're young and naive and they're signing contracts because it all looks great. Sadly, some managements are out just to make money and they don't care about that artist and then take advantage.
I must say, Steve, I'm not sure it's particularly like that now. I think they're more savvy now, the youngsters, they don't, they're streetwise, it's all out there.
Oh yeah, now,
anymore.
It's changing.
You've got the internet, you've got information, it's at hand.
Yes.
It wasn't when we were younger, when Lena was a young kid, and, well, she was too young anyway, she was a child for crying out loud, but, and the basic heroes, you trusted people.
Yeah.
And I was always taught, if you can't afford something, you don't buy it, so, when somebody comes and says, I'll do this and do that for you, don't expect that people who live in big houses and drive Rolls Royces are going to rip you off. But then when you analyse it, there's only one reason they're living in a big house and driving the Rolls Royce.
Totally true, isn't it?
You're paying for it.
Yeah. Oh, mate. It's just.
By the way, I don't live in a big house and I haven't got a Rolls Royce.
No, but you've got a pallet palace and you've got a mobile pallet palace on the way. So,
Oh, contributional.
Obviously now I'm thinking about sort of winding down a bit in the industry, which is really quite fun. It's terrifying going away and enjoying my life in that sense, meeting all my friends in the business, what it's like. We love getting together and how did you do last night? And we live on the edge, don't we, in that sense? And it's brilliant, and the banter we have. And we may not see each other for 2 years, but you beat up, and it's like it's yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's crazy.
I'm missing that, and I'm going to miss it if it's not going to be part of my life anymore because of the situation. Because I don't think it's going to happen. This is not going to clear out overnight. I think it's going to take a lot longer than what people are thinking, you know?
Yeah, it's going to take a while longer, but...
just to get back, so... Yeah, I'm panicking slightly because I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing, but I'm so grateful also that I found out that I've got other interests, you know. Not just balance, by the way. Golf and tennis and all that.
Yeah, we need to let people know that you do ski, you're a great golfer, and you've got a great history around you know. But in 1985, I can't believe mid-80s is 35 years ago, you presented Mooncat and Co. Can you tell me about that show?
Oh yeah, that was from Yorkshire TV, and they got in touch with me and said that Stephen, who was presenting it, needed a break apparently.
Right.
And he wanted a break from it to try something else, but we needed somebody to take his place. And could you write some songs? So I said, yeah, no problem. So I took his place as his presenter. I'm right out the depths again, you know.
Just fell into place.
And I wrote some songs like I've got healthy teeth, things for children, and I loved writing the little songs and all that.
Yeah.
And it was great. And then all of a sudden, they decided, well, after the series, I did about 7 or 8, and then they decided that they weren't going to go any further with it, which was, I thought, oh, wow, that's upsetting, you know. It would have been nice to carry on with that, you know.
Yeah, just getting into the flow. But
that's what that was, yeah. I'd taken over from somebody else who was having a break, and then I think it sort of just fell away. And, that was it. So, that was cool.
Okay, what about the Pop Gospel show? That was another TV thing that came out.
Pop Gospel, yeah, I did that. They approached me. Muriel Young, I think it was, who approached me on that. I mean, Muriel Young, Steve, you won't remember, but for us 60-year-olds, Muriel Young, you'd have had her on your bedroom wall. She was absolutely stunning, you know.
Yeah.
And she she was gorgeous. She was maybe in her 50s then even when she produced the show. But I was so excited to be working for her. And she really liked me, you know. It was great, you know. That just felt great. She was such a pro. So I did that with some really nice people, but they were very, very religious, of course, because it was called Pop Gospel.
Okay.
So I felt like an heathen, you know. It's not like we get in that way, because I'm not religious. It's as simple as that, you know. But
sure.
But Cliff Richard came on 1 week.
All right.
And,
did you get to collaborate?
Well, this iconic singer, you know, and he was so down to earth. He was like, but he did push me a little bit because we were doing a song together. And we were on a sort of a little plinth thing, and he said, do you mind if we do a twirl, a little bit of a dance twirl? And I went, no, I don't do twirls, Cliff. I couldn't dance to save my life, so I thought I was frightened of knocking him off it, you know. So
did it?
Was so nice,
yeah.
You know, to be sort of having a cup of tea with this icon who, you realise everybody's normal, you know. It's just that some people have bigger breaks than others, you know.
Yeah, of course.
But he's a really nice guy.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was a great show to be part of, because everybody on it was sound.
Oh,
I mean, although I'm not religious, I'll tell you what, they were lovely, lovely people, and to have that kind of belief must be marvellous, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's like a community. They all knew each other, you see.
Okay.
And it was like being part of this little community, you know. Sort of lasted maybe a series or 2 series.
Okay, nice experience though. I mean, to have all these memories, it's incredible.
I'm singing all these great songs, you know. Like, loads of great songs. They weren't all religious songs, but they had that. They sort of had a message, and I think that was important, you know.
Yeah.
Try a Little Kindness is one of the songs I sang. I love that song. It was Glenn Campbell saying, try a little kindness, try a little kindness. What's the chorus? I can't remember.
Okay. It sounded nice.
I'll have to go all the way through the song. We haven't got time.
Ice and Teeth.
Been very lucky, really, I've got to tell you.
Yeah.
Very lucky because, I mean, I believe the cruise industry saved our industry full stop.
Yeah.
Because of the club scene.
Oh, yeah, definitely, undoubtedly.
It allowed you to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And perform at the very highest level without being this massive star, you know.
Yeah, because all these clubs closed down. The social clubs, the cabaret clubs, they all started to close. And then I guess a lot of acts were going on the ships. Do you remember the first one? One of your early cruise directors was Roy Yates, wasn't it, on
That's right,
Air Tours?
Yeah. Well, I sort of ventured onto the cruise ships because I was offered a cruise as a sort of a holiday with my family as well.
Right.
So on my first cruise, I took Adam, and I took Jane and I went, and Adam and Chris, and it was air tours, and it was absolutely brilliant. We had this massive cabin, and the only thing was, I remember going to see the shows because I never realised just how much, because generally, if you work the club, you had to have 45, 50 minutes.
Yes.
And sometimes you only had to do half an hour,
All right, yeah.
But sometimes, obviously, you did 2 spots, your spot and the dance spot. But other than that, you didn't. When I went on the cruise ships and I went to watch the first show, and this guy was brilliant, And I came away and I was terrified because I thought, oh, that's his first show. And then he did another completely different show, which is brilliant. And I just thought, wow, I'm going to have to learn so much more material if I want to be part of the cruising industry. I mean, if you go back even earlier, the Dave Evanses, Dave used to tell stories about how he did 4 or 5 shows for crying out loud. He'd go on forever, wouldn't he?
Yeah, well, he did. Yes, he did.
But he had to. They learned, when they were doing it in his era, they had to do all these different. They did everything, and that's how they became brilliant, because they were great at everything. Because they had to. That they were working 24/7.
Yeah, definitely. I think
it's got a lot easier now. You need 2 full shows now, 2 different full shows now. And but the thing is, I learned quickly was don't put all your good stuff in one show.
No.
Because they come down to the second show and think, ooh, I hope he's going to, we're looking forward to this. And if it's not as good as the first one. In fact, I would go as far as to say, keep your best stuff for your second show.
Yeah, that's true. Just break it in.
You're setting a trap for yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, but, definitely. You want them to come back.
Their tours, loved it, and I ended up, so I did one for 1 year, and then the next year I did maybe 2 or 3, and then I started going more and more. Yeah, and I worked with the lovely Diane Cousins as well, who was a massive star. I mean, Diane bombed, she absolutely ripped them apart wherever she went.
Yeah. When I started out on the ships in '97, and I heard about probably 5 acts when I joined, and acts that I really wanted to start working with. And so Diane Cousins was one, Dave Evans, Mickey Zaney, and yourself.
Well, Dave Evans, he was an act, wasn't he, Dave? He was, it was just to go and watch him perform was something else. I mean, he was absolutely brilliant. He did so much, it was terrifying, because he'd come away thinking, oh, God. He sings, tells jokes, plays all those instruments. I mean, where the hell do we go from here,
Yeah, and ends on a tap dance as well. Yeah.
Oh,
so
he was a true star. There's no 2 ways about that.
Yeah.
And Diane was her timing. I mean, she was absolutely... But Diane, she was a big star in the day, so she knew what she was doing,
Yeah, definitely.
But her timing is superb. Every time I saw her... I think the truth is, if you watch an artist more than once and you still enjoy them, they've got something special.
Yes.
And I'm never tired of watching Dave, and I'm never tired of watching Diana as well. So.
Oh, it's fantastic. Now, Roy Yates, I spoke to him recently about you, and he said he first saw you when he was a cruise director in '96. He saw you over 50 times and never saw you struggle. And he also goes on to say that you're not a gag teller, you're rather a teller of really funny stories, and that's what makes you stand out.
That's nice of him. For him to say that's brilliant, actually.
Yeah. He also said that your charm and your storytelling are universally funny, so it works around the world, doesn't it?
Yeah, do you know what? It's hard, isn't it, to because we always feel insecure ourselves, no matter what.
Sure.
It's one of those things with artists, no matter what. You wonder why when when I watch the likes of Mike Doyle and Steve Womack and all these wonderful stars, and afterwards, and you can see that sometimes they're panicking whether they went well, and they stormed it, and then you realise we're all vulnerable in that way. I don't know what it is, but so when you hear nice things being said about you, it's especially from your peers as well. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it means a lot, doesn't it, to hear it from them?
Yeah, it does. I realised once about I was doing an American ship, and and I thought, oh gosh, here we go, because I am a sort of a northern, in a sense, my northern humour comes through, So what the hell have I got in common with Americans? Very little, really. But a guy came to me afterwards and said, "Hell, man, He said, I ain't got a goddamn clue what you're talking about. He said, but hell, I loved you. And I thought, can you imagine a British audience saying that to an American act?
Wow.
Hey, love it. Come on, time to go now. He's not got it for me, you know. Come on, let's go. That's American. We don't want to be listening to him anymore. We don't know what he's talking about, you know.
It's true, isn't it? It's crazy.
Wow, he hasn't got a clue what I'm talking about, but he sat through it and came away and complimented me. And I thought, well, okay.
That's nice. That's the problem on the ships, because you're living with your audience, and so you get to hear the feedback like 3 days later, and they tell you what they think.
Oh, I know,
Way before Facebook.
Yes, I know. And then when you sat with one of the acts, and somebody comes up, they don't recognise them, and they go, ooh, you were a lot better than him, you know.
Last night, yeah.
And you're thinking, oh, no, you want to crawl under the table, don't you?
Yeah, you're always walking around with acts, and they say, oh, you were great, and then they notice that the other act was there, and then you get an and you, oh, and you, you know, it was...
Well, yeah.
But you probably haven't had that, but I've had that.
Listen, we've all had it. Don't you worry. You know, there's always somebody there.
Yeah, sure. But they do call it bonoed on the ship if you're with a few acts, and you get, you too were funny.
It's brilliant, isn't it? But we can laugh about it. But if you can't laugh about it, you shouldn't be in the industry, you know. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. And if you don't like criticism, to a certain degree, you know, number one, don't read the articles that are criticising you. And I mean, constructive criticism is always valid.
Yeah,
I don't mind a bit of that.
No, that always helps us.
I've had that. I've been told down the line. I was told Gary Levine once said to me, "You're the worst acceptor of a round of applause I've ever seen in my life." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "When you finish your show," he said, "you scuttle off." He said, "Bernie, I'll show you what to do." So when I went to what you said, when you see me, have a look what I do at the end of the show. So I went to watch him, and his bow lasted about an hour. So I said, "I see what you mean." He said, "Just take your bow, man." He said, "They're applauding because they like you, so accept it." And from then on, and I understood what he meant, but you know, from then on, I used to take my bow and
I guess you don't see that, do you? But someone else from the outside of your show would see that, and it's nice that he complimented that part of it, and you know, you take it. We never stop learning.
I remember, I think if people are doing it because they like you, you know, I don't think people give you advice because they want us to do. I don't think they do anyway.
No, it's because they like you, yeah.
You're wrong. I think it's because they like you. You know, I've always felt like that.
Yeah.
Working with a guy who's singing, he sang songs, a great singer, and did jokes as well. But Stevie brought the lights up every 5 minutes, you know. So, let's have the lights up again, you know, and think, whoa, what's going on? As an audience, to me, that's a no-no. Unless you do it once and you want to see somebody, fine. But to do it every 5 minutes, you want to talk to somebody, I thought, no. So I told him afterwards. Then I went to see his second show. He still brought the lights up, so some people just don't listen.
No, I know what you mean. Everyone's different.
Bring the lights up, they can see me sneaking out the back, you know. And
You know when to sneak out if you've seen a couple of the shows, though. So that's. No, but
look, I've been guilty of sneaking out many a time, you know. But
yeah.
Look, if it's not my cup of tea, I don't want to be. I don't want to be rude, but that's it at the back.
And Bernie, I know that you've been to the Good Turn Society. Ken Dodd told me this when I toured with him, that the Good Turn Society, where everyone around the Liverpool area get together and just meet up and have a good blast. And you've performed at one of them, haven't you? Because have you been there with Stan Boardman and Jimmy Tarbuck?
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think I overdid it, actually, because I thought I was doing really well, and they said, "Right, okay, that's enough now." And they moved me on. I thought, I must have been going too well at the table. But listen, I never met Ken Dodd, believe it or not. I never ever met him.
Oh, really? Wow.
Never met him. So, and I met most of the guys around Liverpool, the guys down the line. But this one guy I never ever met. You know.
Okay, that's strange. Yeah, all these years.
What everybody looks up to, he was just an icon, wasn't he? You know.
Yeah. A lot of another thing that Roy Yates told me was that a lot of former footballers rave about you because they saw you entertaining at the Jimmy Tarbuck Golf Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that must be the event I was thinking of. It's
Well, I know loads of the old, certainly the old school footballers, you know, from the golf classics that I've played over the years. A lot of times over in Portugal, but with Jimmy Talbot Golf Classic, I get invited every year. And I played in the Henry Cooper as well, the Henry Cooper Golf Classic.
Wow.
Which was absolutely fantastic. I mean, the stars there, it was just out of this world, you know, the professional footballers and boxers, everybody. It was just amazing. So, yeah, I would do a show in the evening on the Sunday, I think it was. And we'd have a barbecue. And we'd all be outside, and then I'd get up and start playing and singing. And it was just brilliant. The atmosphere was great. And all of a sudden, once I'd done a few shows, all the big stars who didn't really know me from Adam, I became friends with them because of it, you know.
Wow, nice.
And, so it was quite an honour, really, you know. Yeah, that was something I really, really do miss. But you don't know at the time how quick it's going to go by, do you?
No, definitely not. But it hasn't stopped you, has it, Bernie? You've written some beautiful songs recently, and the Killing Fields is one of them. That's a lovely song.
Yeah, I may put that up on Facebook actually, because I wrote that a little while ago. But I'm actually going in my little studio a lot more than I used to at the moment. So
yes.
I'm hopefully getting a bit of a bug back for doing more writing, you know, and getting the feel for it.
I hope so. It'd be so nice to see a new album. I noticed a song just a couple of weeks ago. Is it called Isolation, or it's about the isolation? That's a stunning track.
Yeah, that's quite nice, that, isn't it? That came about with. I sort of wrote that with my mate, and he's written a book of poetry actually, and it's absolutely brilliant, you know.
Yeah.
You know him, Lloyd Davis.
Okay.
You know Lloyd, don't you? You may not know Lloyd actually. You know, he works on the ships. He's a comedian.
Okay,
on the ships.
I think I've met him once. Yeah.
Piano and write songs.
Okay.
But we got together and I asked him originally. I was doing a TV show which hasn't been shown this year. I don't know why, but it's about where you came from and what you did and all the rest of it. You know, how you got to where you are.
Yes.
And they wanted me to write a song, so I got in touch with him because they needed it the next day and they wanted it to be funny. So I said to him, "Can we do one together?" So we did this song, and from that. He wrote this great bit of stuff for me, and from that I said, "Listen, let's try and write some songs together." So that's how we came up. We're not immune.
That's it. Yeah.
And he wrote the lyrics, most of the lyrics, and I changed. Well, obviously you had them together, you know, and then I just came up with a tune, and I kept coming back and forward. And I originally went in the studios, and it was a reggae version.
All right. Originally,
really, but
yeah.
I played him the original version that I'd made, and he said, "I like that better." So we just abandoned the reggae version and kept it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
And Phil sort of produced it, and I said, "Keep it light, mate." I said, one thing I don't like is an overproduction. I just hate too much going on, you know. So we kept it very light, and it turned out perfect in the end, really. So I'm very pleased with it. Yeah.
A really nice track, mate. They're really nice songs. It'd be great to see a new album, and if this horrible time has brought that, and Opportunity Knocks Twice is a brilliant album that people can get on Amazon, which I got for myself, and I got one for my dad. So
it's not bad, is it?
It's a great album because it's a really good mix of not just country songs and Bernie Flint songs. There's a mix of quite a lot of, you know, James Taylor. There's a great Beatles medleys. It's so nice.
I know. I'm a Beatles man. I mean, just fantastic music to play on the acoustic guitar. Yeah. I don't listen to myself too often. It's one of those things I don't like. It's like listening to myself talk. I don't like it. It's sort of.
I won't send you the link for this thing because we're talking quite a lot on here. Bernie, you're always a pleasure to work with and talk to, mate. Thank you so much, and we'll spread the love that you've got for the Palette Palace. It's Valentine's coming up, so you must be really busy.
Do you know what? I've been that busy making that sort of side cover for our Adam. That's got by the wayside. Yeah, I've just I'll be making one or two little things. I'll definitely do one little thing for Valentine's. I've got to do, haven't I, really? So. So.
Yeah, they'll be expecting your fans out there for you've got fans for different things that you do, and you do so many different things.
Palace lives on even after the lockdown. You know, we need contact, man. We touchy. That's what we are. We're humans. That's what we need. So
yeah, we do.
Unbearable what's going on at the moment.
I know.
You know, in that sense,
it's crazy. It's history we're living through, but it's still like a movie.
You know what? You're dead right. This is what we read in your history books about the plagues and about the Spanish flu and everything. It's not been made up. That's it. It's all part of history. We're part of it.
I know.
I'll tell you one thing that might happen. The world might just start breathing a sigh of relief without all the fumes being spewed out there. So hopefully, it'll recover a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's had a year to do that, to get its breath back, hasn't it?
It needs longer than that, unfortunately, doesn't it, mate? You know?
I know. It's really sad.
I'll be travelling around Great Britain on my holidays for the next few years.
Well, when the caravan arrives, you can do that. So it's nice. If you're going to be down south, give us a call. It'll be great to. Would you go back to Torquay? Because I know that you worked in Torquay at the Princess Theatre with your mate Stan.
So. I love that. Did I tell you the story about Stan in Torquay?
Shall we end on that story with Stan Boardman?
Definitely.
Yes, please.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, so we had a summer season in Torquay, which was only 2 days a week, so it wasn't over, it was just right. And it was about over 8-9 weeks in Torquay. So I arrived at his house, and we're driving to Torquay, and he said, I've got an idea, he said, for the show. And I said, what do you mean an idea? I said, there's you, me, and Shel McRae in the show. I said, that's what the show is. He said, yeah, but he said, what I'd like to do is something like the Three Amigos. I said, what do you mean? He said, it's Three Amigos, 3 Spanish guys, come on, he said, dressed in Spanish gear, and I'll do some impressions behind you. He said, I've got a bit of a script or an idea. And I said, whoa. He said, Stan, you expect me to speak Spanish? I said, I know a little bit. He said, well, just do a few Spanish songs. So I said, well, look, we're on our way to Torquay. We're on stage in about 5 or 6 hours. I said, we'll talk about it as the week goes by, maybe, and we'll sort it out, maybe, I don't know, thinking he'd forget about it. So he said, well, I'm really keen to do it. So I said, all right. So we're driving to Torquay. And we arrived in Torquay, right, and the posters are on, right, and it said, Stan Boardman, Bernie Flint, Shel McRae from the Fortunes, and the Three Amigos. He'd actually advertised, and I said, the Three Amigos are on. He said, oh, yeah, I know that, yeah. He said, yeah, they're on tonight. And I went, no, they're not. He said, yeah, they are. I said, we don't know anything. He said, well, just throw something together, So I went into panic mode, and I sat Shel McRae down. Shel, when in one ear and out the other, he can't keep anything in, So whatever I was telling him wasn't going to stick.
No.
So I learned some Spanish. I did some songs. They weren't Spanish, they were English, but I did them in a Spanish flavour.
I thought you were the Spanish guitarist.
The Don Cortez of Southport. So we threw this act together, and I'm telling you, we threw it. And what it was, he said, ladies and gentlemen, it started with we've got some bad news. The Three Amigos, there's only one arrived. So he said he's going to do a couple of minutes, and we'll see if the other ones arrive later. So I'd go on, and then he said, we've got some good news. The other Amigos arrived. And then Shel McRae came on, and we both got these big Spanish hats on and cloaks, and I'm singing in the Spanish, la la la, sort of thing. And then he said, good news, Stan said in a scout's voice, the other Amigo has arrived, and he waltzes on. And the audience absolutely loved it. It was the best show. It was the best thing on the show. They loved it. It was
really?
about 15 minutes of this rubbish.
That's a great.
We did that every night that we were working in Torquay because it was advertised. So.
Well, I'd have to search for that online. It'd be amazing if that was if we could see that. If it was, it's probably not on YouTube, but.
It was just mental. But I've got to say, bless him, his brain, he's in his 80s now, and he's still, he can remember everything. He's sharp as a razor. He's always thinking outside the box,
Yeah.
So, it's great.
That's fantastic. This business is about characters, isn't it? That's the brilliant. What a lovely story. Bernie Flint, thank you so much. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate your time. And please send your love to Jane and your family. They've got all the new furniture in their house, thanks to you. They're so lucky.
Oh, now I'm upset in the room.
Oh, thank you, mate. It means a lot.
No, my pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure, Steve. You know that, buddy. Ta-ra, mate.
Bye, mate. Bye.
Eyes and Teeth.
Thanks, Bernie. Always a pleasure talking to the great man. To catch Bernie online, you can find him on Facebook. This edition's comedy quote comes from a fellow Southport comedian, Lee Mack. Since The Office, everyone has this idea that comedy is only good if it reflects the way people really speak. But that's nonsense, and it's a problem unique to comedy. Thanks for listening to another season of Eyes and Teeth. See you next time.